As they go to the TV, we'll be ready to go. Yeah.
I said, I wonder if it was okay that I moved that one.
Well,
So, you wonder if it's okay what?
I don't know.
I don't like it. I generally kind of lower it
Yeah, it was kind of in my face. So.
so that it's not directly in my face. It seems to.
I'd like to welcome everyone this evening to the September 4th, 2014 regularly scheduled meeting for the Buncombe County School Board. First thing we'd like to do is if you'd all please stand for the presentation of the colors presented by the Robertson High School Junior ROTC program. Thank you. And if you'd remain standing and bow your heads for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please be seated. Later on in the meeting tonight, we'll have public comment, and if you are interested in making public comment, there's a sign-up sheet down here. It'll be to your right. If you wouldn't mind, come down and sign up for that. And so we need to approve the agenda. A couple of changes that I would like to make. Under special recognition, I want to add just a brief statement about the 30th anniversary of the Buncombe County Schools Foundation. I also would like to move from the consent agenda to the action agenda the Child Nutrition Procurement Plan bid awards, the addendum to the Driver's Education 2014-15 contract with Mountain Professionals, the Inca Intermediate School authorized the superintendent to review and accept the construction manager's GMP for the Phase 1 site work, and then the Owen High School tennis court contract. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. So we're going to move on to our special recognition, where we're going to recognize our 2015 Teachers of the Year. And I believe that Ms. Swanger, you're going to take care of that for us.
Chairman Reinhardt, board members, Superintendent Baldwin, what a pleasure it is to announce our Teachers of the Year. Very special to my heart, as what happens in a classroom is what we are all about, making those wonderful gains for students. So it's an honor to select and name to you our Teachers of the Year this evening, and I hope that they know it's such an honor for them to be recognized by their peers. So if the board member will join from the district that we're going to start with. So Chairman Reinhardt, will you come down and we will do the Inca district first. I want to thank Dr. Porter. He has done a great job organizing us this evening. From Inca High School, joined by Edwin Spivey, Principal, Ben Alexander. From Inca Middle School, congratulations to Chelsea Page, escorted by Leland Blankenship, principal. Okay. We'll slow it down just a little bit. From Candler Elementary, Ryan Hennessy. One more. From Candler Elementary, Ryan Hennessy with Mr. Stephen Chancellor. From Hominy Valley Elementary, Amanda Hollifield with Dr. Angie Jackson, principal. Congratulations to Leslie Cox from Pisgah Elementary, escorted with J. Dale, principal. From Sandhill Venable Elementary, Jennifer Anderson with Amy Dupree, principal of Sandhill Venable. Next, we have the Irwin District, Mr. Bryant. From Clyde A. Irwin High School, Miss Anna Austin with Dr. Jim Brown, principal. From Clyde A. Irwin Middle School, Jeff Baggett with Joel Hathaway, principal. From Joe P. Eblin Intermediate School, Mr. Jason Miller with Melanie Ramsey, principal. From Emma Elementary, Tony Lane Fulp could not be with us this evening, but Jeremy Stowe, principal, is here. You be sure and share that award with Tony. We'll be checking. From Johnston Elementary, Miss Christy Pace with Charlotte Hips, principal. At Luster Elementary, Laura Jason with Dana. Carlene Finger couldn't be here this evening. Haney. Thank you, Dana. From West Buncombe Elementary School, Brittany Hensley is here, and Principal Brian Chandler. Congratulations to Amy Klaus from Woodfin Elementary. She couldn't be here this evening, but Chad Upton is here in her behalf.
I saw that.
One more. From Buncombe County Early College, Julie Mames is the Teacher of the Year with her principal, Bonnie Johnston. Thank you. We will move on to the North Buncombe District. Ms. Franklin, would you join us? From North Buncombe High School, Gary Massey is the Teacher of the Year, and he was unable to attend, but Mr. Evans, Principal, will stand in on his behalf. From North Buncombe Middle, Miss Laura Norris, with Sherry Barnett, Principal. Ms. Heather Neal is our Teacher of the Year at North Windy Ridge, and she was unable to attend this evening, as was Jackie Byerly, her principal, so special recognition to them. From Barnersville Elementary, Kate Tefgar with Heidi Allison, Principal. From North Buncombe Elementary, Kelly Zumwalt, escorted by Principal Debbie Dervain. Congratulations to Jeremy Ayton from Weaverville Elementary with Principal Brent Wise. Representing Weaverville Primary School, Mark Ussery, Teacher of the Year with Gardner Bridges, Principal. Thank you. Owen District is next. Mr. Craig. From Charles D. Owen High School, Miss Karen Jones with Meg Turner, Principal. From Charles D. Owen Middle School, Nicole Phelps with Principal Dr. Heidi Von Dolan. Representing Black Mountain Elementary, Jessica Marshall, Teacher of the Year, could not be with us this evening, nor could Principal Norm Bosseret. From Black Mountain Primary, Miss Deborah Kubiak with Principal Mallory McGinnis. From W.D. Williams Elementary School, Jeanette Hampton, Teacher of the Year with Principal Kimberly Ward. From Community High School, Summer Kirkpatrick with Mr. Owens. Is Mr. Owens? There he is. We'll move to the Reynolds District. Ms. Baldwin, if you would join us. Representing A.C. Reynolds High School, Wendy Wheeler with Principal Doris Sellers. From A.C. Reynolds Middle School, Miss Andrea Britt with Dr. Jamie Johnson, Principal. From Cane Creek Middle School, Muriel Singer with Karen Barnhill, principal. Representing Charles C. Bell Elementary, Lisa Lyles, Teacher of the Year with Principal Jenny Klein. Congratulations to Fairview Elementary, Will Henry, Teacher of the Year with Principal Jennifer Reed. From Hall Creek Elementary, Jonathan Hines, Teacher of the Year, and Jenny Barrett, Principal. From Oakley Elementary, Ms. Sandra Langfeld and Danny Fusco, Principal. And from the T.C. Robertson District, Ms. Churchill, would you join us? From T.C. Robertson High School, Ms. Elisa Baker with Principal Amy Roney. From Valley Springs Middle, Mike Reardon could not be with us this evening, nor could Eddie Birchfield, but we want to recognize them. Oh, you are here? Principal Eddie Birchfield. We were just checking to see if you were paying attention. From Charles T. Kuntz Intermediate School, Mr. Tom House, Teacher of the Year, with Robin Board, Principal. Congratulations to Christy Lusk, Avery's Creek Elementary, Teacher of the Year, with Denise Montgomery, Principal. From Estes Elementary, congratulations to Paula Dinga, Teacher of the Year, with John Barber, Principal. Representing Glen Arden Elementary, Laura Swangam with Christina Spay, Principal. From our Progressive Education Program, Ms. Katie Honey with Larry Weigel, Principal. We will now recognize the District Teachers of the Year. Mr. Pless, would you help us as well, since, would you come up and, with Chairman Reinhardt?
You can do them all.
Chairman Reinhardt, will you join him? Was a very tough selection process. Our teachers worked very hard on a portfolio, sharing their classroom, and making a speech to our committee. So, congratulations to Inca High School, Ben Alexander, for the Inca District Teacher of the Year. Congratulations to Anna Austin, Irwin High School, Irwin District Teacher of the Year. Representing the North Buncombe District, congratulations Laura Norris from North Buncombe Middle School. Representing the Owen District, Nicole Phelps, Owen Middle School. From the Reynolds District, congratulations, Will Henry, representing Fairview Elementary School. From the Robertson District, representing T.C. Robertson High School, Alyssa Baker. Let's give this group a round of applause as our District Teachers of the Year. And we will know who the Buncombe County Teacher of the Year will be at our Teacher of the Year banquet on September 16th. Congratulations to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Chairman Reinhardt, would you stay, and Dr. Baldwin, would you stay up front? We have one more special recognition. Along with Teacher of the Year, it's important to recognize the Principal of the Year. And the Buncombe County School Principals have named Mr. Steve Chandler as their 2015 Principal of the Year. Congratulations, Mr. Chandler. Mr. Chandler has been with Buncombe County Schools for 22 years. He's been a principal since 2004, and he is currently the principal of Candler Elementary. Congratulations. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Very much. Go in one.
Sorry about that, folks. I lost my place there for just a second.
Notice how quiet and orderly our teachers are.
This month, the Buncombe County Schools Foundation will celebrate its 30th anniversary of supporting students, teachers, and schools. Over the last 30 years, the foundation has given over $5 million directly to this school district, including close to $400,000 this past year. The funds have included scholarships for graduating seniors, hundreds of thousands of dollars in grants for individual classrooms, large-scale support of projects throughout the school district, such as Project Lead the Way, the Bookmobile, teacher and employee training, celebration of the Teacher of the Year, and overseas travel in support of the Global Initiative. On September the 16th, the foundation will host a luncheon with Speaker Herman Boone, the football coach portrayed by Denzel Washington in the movie Remember the Titans. This will be at the Asheville Renaissance Hotel, and tickets are still available, and we would love for you to come join us. I've already bought my ticket, so I will hopefully be there. So none of the work of the foundation would be possible without the support of our donors, teachers, and parents throughout the years. Please help us celebrate this milestone for Buncombe County Schools and the work of the foundation since 1984. Something else that will be going on in October is the obstacle the Great Obstacle Race, which will be held at the Camp Rockmont, October the 25th. So we expect everyone to start training and be out there. So thank you for all the folks that have supported the foundation, and we really appreciate all the work that they do for the schools. Thank you, Ms. Atkins. So next on our agenda is superintendent comments. Dr. Baldwin.
Glad our teachers group quieted down out there. I thought we were going to have to flip the light switch on and off for them. This is a true story. Day one, Dr. Porter was hired and came to work, comes in my office, and his question is, what are we doing for our Teachers of the Year? And so I talked through what traditionally our banquet and recognition that we've had, and he said, we need to make it even more special. Those individuals need to be recognized publicly. They need to be recognized as as part of the agenda for our board meeting. So wasn't that really special? And isn't that what it's all about for Buncombe County Schools? And I want to begin by just recognizing the efforts of all of our educators out there. We saw two groups, our teachers, our principals, but it includes everyone. It includes our support staff, our teacher assistants, cafeteria workers, bus drivers, because I can tell you, and I'm still running a little short, I've not visited all 42 campuses. I think I'm on campus number 30, but I'm going to make it. I'm getting a little older as the years go on. But I am so pleased to address the board and the public and say, you know, the campuses that I've been on, I walked through those schools. It has been such a smooth transition. Kids are on task, teachers teaching, and I'm also so very pleased when I walk through there and I meet our staff in the hallway. They have these huge smiles. And as we all know, we talk a lot about the challenges that we've faced in public education, but when it's game time, those professionals are on top of their game. And I think that's at the core of what makes this school system so special. So thanks to everyone out there for that effort. Our fleet of 291 school buses are officially on the road. And annually, our State Department of Transportation comes in and does a comprehensive inspection of our bus fleet. They do that in every one of the 115 school systems. And I want to recognize Director Joe Huff and his leadership. I don't think Joe is here tonight. Oh, yes, Joe is here. And I want to recognize through his leadership, we just went through those inspections, and we actually ranked 5th in the entire state in terms of the highest inspection report. So, Joe, that's incredible. I don't know if we've ever done that in our system. Got some more good news. I know David Thompson's here. He's the director of our student services. David recently received some notification from the U.S. Department of Education. We are the recipient of a $1.2 million grant through the U.S. Department of Ed. It's over a 3-year period, and the grant is entitled Schools with Class, Counselors Leading Advanced School Safety. That's going to be an incredible support that takes place. It's a combination of actually some bully proofing that will be aimed at the elementary school, a reporting process and documentation process. We've not had that in place. We've had it, initiated it at the middle and high school level. So now all of our schools will have that opportunity, and there'll be some very extensive staff training too that'll be focused on trauma response and best practices there. So, David, I know that was a lot of effort from your department, as well as Susan Andrews. I don't think Susan's here tonight, our grant writer, but that is absolutely significant to have that amount of a grant. So, congratulations to you. Also want to repeat what you heard the chairman say. Our foundation is certainly one of the strongest support programs that we have for our school system. They are invaluable when it comes to supporting our teachers, especially in the areas of professional development. Helping our students in areas with textbooks has been a real key this past year. So again, remember September 16th. The tickets are on sale, and Lisa, I know you the website. It's just pick up the phone, come visit, and what a incredible speaker. I've heard him once, and he is just outstanding. He is. You may remember him in the movie as Denzel Washington, I think. Should be an incredible program, so take advantage of that. The 16th is really going to be a busy day because that particular evening, board members, make sure this is on your calendar. That will also be our Teacher of the Year banquet. That's going to be held, I believe, at the Crown Plaza. So we'll make sure that we have reminders coming to you as that date gets a little bit closer. Among those wonderful starts that we've enjoyed has been here at the Discovery Academy. And Mr. Allison and his team of teachers have welcomed 100 brand new students. It has just been awesome. It has been one of the joys of my day to leave my office and walk through and see what's going on in those classrooms. It's just incredible the innovation that's taking place. On Saturday, September 21st, that is actually Sunday, September 21st, we will be hosting a dedication that will take place from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and that will be in honor of dedicating the facility to the late Senator Martin Nesbitt. So, Board, you'll be receiving more specific information on that. And again, I think we're very proud in this school system to be able to have that honor to name this particular facility after Senator Nesbitt. In closing, I want to reference the official release by the State Board of Education of our Ready Accountability Report. That happened earlier this morning. I think 10:30 was the actual time. We are in the process of thoroughly reviewing, and just our portion alone is 346 pages of data. We know that we spoke with Julie Ball, and I think there's already an article out for the public with both Buncombe County and Asheville City Schools, so I encourage you to read that. I can report some overall results here tonight. As an LEA, we met 76% of the total state performance targets. And as many of us know, those performance targets vary from school to school and school system, from one system to another, based upon really the diversity of your demographics of your students, the diversity within that particular school building. So we're very pleased with that particular result. In fact, 14 of our schools in our school system met 100% of their individual targets, and that's outstanding. 20 of 39 Buncombe County schools met or exceeded their projected growth in terms of student performance. And most importantly, as we completed the second year of accelerated standards, and some of you were probably in the audience 2 years ago when we came out and talked about how the state of North Carolina has committed to really raising the bar in terms of academic standards, and that then in turn put an additional rigor that was taking place in those classrooms. 70% of our schools 70% of our schools exceeded the state's average grade level proficiency. Our overall performance composite, and this is based upon, again, the students' performance assessments from last year, is 60.5, and that's compared to the state's composite of 56.3. So again, we're very proud of that. That's early results. That's looking at the big picture. As we start reviewing and dissecting that data, Board, we hope on our October session, I'm going to ask Mr. Gorsuch, our testing director, as well as Mrs. Swanger and curriculum staff to come in and give you a much more detailed report and analysis. I think it's very important to remember, though, that any type of data like that, it's one thing to see it on the paper, and it's one thing to look at the big picture. The most important aspect of collecting and receiving that data is taking it off the paper and making sure that it reaches each and every school, and that school, in turn, has an opportunity to work with their staff, their leadership, their professional learning communities to look and review the data and then respond to it in terms of strengths and weaknesses. One of the best examples of that going on in our schools, our high schools, is our Smart Lunch program. I think that was started at Owen High School, and that was actually a direct result of receiving this type of assessment data, bringing together staff, creative thinking. As a result, this program has now expanded to 4 campuses, so more to come. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Dr. Porter, I believe you had some good news to share with us.
Yes, Chairman Reinhardt, we have more good news. Chairman Reinhardt, Dr. Baldwin, board members, assembled guests. The extension of good news is now centered on the Department of Curriculum, and with some very good news and a great recognition, Dr. Margaret Smalls will share with us.
Good evening. Nice to see all of you this evening.
Good evening.
As Dr. Baldwin mentioned, these past several years have seen an increase in the challenges for teaching mathematics. We're very fortunate in Buncombe County to have over 130 highly skilled teachers in the secondary. Now, if I really, do you guys need this? Can you all hear me?
It's for the TV.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll hold it out here. This is the beginning of my 6th year here, and when I came here, I was very fortunate to have the first high school coach that Buncombe County had hired working with me. As the K-12 math specialist, I work with all the schools, all the levels. And in the past 5 years, we've gone through periods of consolidation in K-5 and 6-8, but high school has remained a challenge. As the standards have increased, the rigor at which all students must achieve, along with the 4-year of mathematics credits graduation requirement, it's pretty clear now that we expect all students in Buncombe County to know way more math than most of the teachers in the high schools. The only people who know as much math as our kids are in the math and science departments. And this level of rigor for all students requires a unique set of skills. So I'm very honored this evening to be able to present to you the Buncombe County Outstanding Secondary Mathematics Teacher of the Year. In the even years, we present this award to secondary, grades 6 through 12, and the odd years to elementary, grades K through 5. So you principals remember to nominate your mathematics teachers for this award. The North Carolina Council for Teachers of Mathematics supports this award across the state. So the winner of the Buncombe County Outstanding Mathematics Teacher will join together in late October with recipients from secondary level across all of North Carolina. And with me this evening to honor our secondary math teacher is the current math coach who coaches at her school, and Karen McPherson and Meg Turner. And I just want to let Kim know, Kim Clark, working with her as both a mentor and a colleague has been one of the great pleasures and joys and exciting opportunities of my time in the job. So I want to let both Karen and Meg say a few comments about Kim.
If there's one thing I want you to know about Kim Clark is that she's very passionate about their students. First and foremost in her mind when she thinks about a lesson, an assessment, a day with her students is what's going to impact them, engage them with mathematics, and help them be successful. It is a privilege to work with Kim. I'm inspired by her work and her creativity, and I just am very proud of Buncombe County's decision to make her the outstanding math teacher for 2014.
It's awesome to be a principal and have the opportunity to work with people like Kim, because you get to come to places like this and tell her what a great job she's doing, and teachers like Kim make my job fun and easy. I also want to remind you perhaps that she was a recipient of a Burroughs Welcome Award for the tune of how many thousands of dollars? $175,000 over a 5-year time period that she gets to spend improving teaching and learning in our school. So we love having Kim Clark. The last thing I want to tell you, is Jenny Klein in the room? Okay, that's really good, because she's my daughter's principal. I have this really strange thing as a mom of a 9-year-old and as a principal, that one of the things that I have come to realize is that for me, it's more important, and I'm really not sure I should tell this, but I am. It's more important about who my child's teacher is than who her principal is. And I don't know if that's a bad sign or a good sign, but I know as a principal that teachers are the one every day that are right there. And my daughter's teacher is in the room, she's in the back, and I really, really am thankful to the awesome teachers at Bell that my daughter has had. But I know as a principal how important teachers are. And Kim Clark is the first teacher that I hired at Owen High School. We brought her back from Margaret and from the coaching ranks in the county, and I have never regretted it for a moment. So I really appreciate Kim, and it's an honor to be here. And thank you for all the teachers and also for the principals who do the good work we have to do.
I wasn't really prepared to speak. Thank you so much for this honor. I'm really, really honored. For my principal for nominating me. I don't always make your job easier. You have to write a lot and travel for me and things like that. And I really appreciate being honored. So thank you very much. I'm honored to have a great leadership. I have great mentors. I have great coaches. Leadership from the top down. I can't tell you how much it means to me. So thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. All right, next on the agenda we have a public comment. I believe we have a couple of folks signed up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have Emily Profita. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly.
Just a reminder, before public comment starts, you do have 3 minutes, and you have the green light, you'll have the yellow light when you have 30 seconds remaining, and then the red light whenever your time is up. So go right ahead. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Emily Profita. I'm from the Nesbitt Discovery Academy School, and I am here to talk about feeding our school more healthier choices. And this is my Silver Award project for Girl Scouts. I wanted to start off with my Vermont Feed research I took, and it's an organization that was founded in 2000, and it supports 7 states in the Northeast already. It stands for Food Education Every Day, and it promotes local farms and communities to develop partnerships for healthy food systems in classrooms and cafeterias. It influences school food policy for long-term benefits of the community. It uses schools for outreach and education to access all the kids and families. It's a healthy and safe food is not a privilege. I think it's a right for everyone, and it stimulates the economy by supporting local farming. It takes farm-to-table concept to farm-to-school, and farm-to-table is taking fresh ingredients from farms straight to your table pretty much. And I wanted to do that with our schools, like take fresh fruits and vegetables from farms and bring them to our schools so we can have them for lunch. And I was going to say, bringing this idea to Buncombe County. The program today, we use lots of canned fruits and vegetables that have lower vitamins and nutritional value. Then we serve prepared or pre-made foods, which have higher preservative contents, and it creates lots of waste with packaging, like cans and plastic and cardboard. And there's not much room for creativity in the meal design. I was going to say for the program tomorrow, which is what I want to do in the future, is have fresh and nutritious fruits and vegetables and eat locally and in the season, homemade food from scratch, and form a relationship with local farmers to supply fresh ingredients. Or I had an idea to build and care for school gardens or greenhouses. And I have we have construction here right now, so there might be maybe we could use some pieces they're not using for the school and use it to make a greenhouse. And I know some organizations that could help us out with stuff to make greenhouses. If we, I'm done. Okay.
Thank you, Miss Emily.
Next we have Samantha Ruoff.
So I'm also doing a presentation on healthy school lunches. Emily is my partner. We're both working on the Silver World Award in Girl Scouts. You're all getting a handout that's about what I'm trying to do. What I believe needs to be removed from the menus would be the high sodium content, because the sodium content in a single meal is often greater than your daily sodium intake should be. The order in foods that are unhealthy and heavily processed, the plastic packaging, which contributes to plastic waste piling up in landfills, and it's often not fresh and releases harmful BPA toxins into the food. Also, GMOs, which I know is a long shot, but do we really want American children eating food, which has been proven to cause cancers and leaky gut syndrome? I believe what needs to be added to the school lunches would be more vegetarian and vegan options, because I have had friends who are vegetarians and have been at times told to just pick meat out of the meals. And more fresh fruits and veggies, because some of the fresh foods are overripe, ranging to rotten, and many fresh foods arriving in sealed plastic bags and containers. There's a lot of snack foods in schools nowadays from vending machines, and they disappeared for a year or two, but they're slowly making a comeback into school cafeterias across America, from side stack straws from vending machines jam-packed with junk food. I've asked a few people around school what they thought of school lunches, and many of them said that they bring lunches or did not like what they were being served. And if you notice, either they bring their lunch or agree that that it needs improvement. Some students even have no idea about how truly unhealthy many school foods are, and they think that if it just has a tag healthy, that it is. And even if we can't improve school lunches, I believe that we should at least inform the students that the dangers of what they are consuming. And on the next page, there's more on GMO foods, which are causing a large uproar worldwide, and they are banned in most first world countries, many second world, and even some third. Thinking about how bad they have to be if countries full of starving citizens are turning it away. They're illegal to grow in most of Europe, and most components in our school lunches are banned there. China is turning away some crops that some of America's corn. Oh. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Jerry Rice.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I won't hold it against you today for not letting me eat with you, but the next time I will. That's the first time in 27 years I've ever been told I couldn't eat at the board meeting. And I think there need to be something done about that, because you have news reporters and different people comes in, I've seen them eat. And so I just need you to look at that, because it's not healthy for you as a board to turn people away, whether it's me or anyone else. I think you need to provide for something in a way that it'd be healthy. That's not the real big issue. County commissioners just voted on a $1.3 million to do ball fields and some things out at the Inca Center, and it's going to be looking at 90 acres. Your board attorney is very well aware of the contamination. It's not been brought out that anybody knows anything, but your county attorney is also the attorney for the AB Tech board. It is the contamination under the OTM building, TCE, 100 parts per billion, which don't sound much when you're talking about CTS plant, but the state law allows it at 3 parts per billion. The building is bad shape. The county and the AB Tech is going to have to do something about the lease if they ain't already, because they leased it for 100 years. Now, when you start talking about the contamination just 1,500 feet away or 2,000 feet away, you better be thinking bigger than that, because this contamination on the landfill portion of this property where they're talking about the ball fields, this is on a 10-acre, 15-acre landfill on a 44-acre site, which they haven't even done a brownfield site on it yet. And the brownfield site they've already done with the Inca Center, and it's already proposed to go ahead with it, has got land reuse restrictions on it that you can't even put a kennel on it. We're talking about dogs, cats, whatever. You can't put anything on it growing any kind of trees and shrubbery and stuff of that nature. You can't have child or daycare. This is on the part of 56.4 acres that's already been approved for land brownfill. Now, they ain't even done a brownfill on the study of this thing, and the county commissioners had the unforeseen foresight to go forward with this money to approve with the foresight of maybe that this thing will be approved. Well, I think that the school board members and the attorney especially is not in the dark about the contamination in the Inca district, and this thing has been kept under wrap. Because I brought this out in July of 2013 at the Commissioners Board meeting in the Inca District at the library. The county manager and the planner was shaking so bad when I told about what was there. They were shaking visibly, and I'll tell you what, there are more people that knows about this contamination than what's in the room. And it's not being talked about, but your attorney is well aware of this. His other attorneys in the firm is well aware of it. There's another attorney, Mr. That knows about it on the opposing side. Thank you.
Mr. Rice.
Finally, we have Linda Humphreys.
I hate to turn my back to these folks behind me. This is a little awkward setting, but I see this at City Council, needless to say. Ladies behind me, you young ladies that spoke of nutrition in the schools, you did a fine job, by the way. I was really impressed with that. I live here in Buncombe County, as many of you know, in Barnardsville. I taught school in the Buncombe County school system for 33+ years. I had the pleasure or displeasure, depends upon how you look at it, of eating lunch every day with my students. The students were good, the nutrition wasn't always so. Something that really rang a bell with me there was when the young lady just said the packaging. I could never eat from the salad bar because you had the prepackaged lettuce with the chemicals on it. But in today's world, that may have upset my stomach, but as Mr. Rice said, I guess there are bigger issues than that chemical that I would eat. The issue that concerns me, that concerns Jerry Rice, and it concerns a lot of parents, is the fact that the commissioners are putting the students I worked with for 33 plus years on a contamination ball field. It blew my mind. That's their problem. You have another problem tonight. You're looking at the nutrition procurement plan and the bid awards. You know there are issues as related to a bid of $232,000 for Ecolab to supply cleaning supplies, etc., for the kitchens in the Buncombe County school system. You have contracted in the past with Champion for $89,000. I believe articles have been written and folks have compared it to, do we want to buy Dawn or do we want to buy True Value dishwashing liquid? Well, folks, you're spending this county and these taxpayers out of money. In my house, I buy what works and what is the cheapest. To vote yes on this procurement plan to go along with your co-op schools, Henderson, Haywood, etc., would be wrongdoing for the citizens of Buncombe County. Table this, as Haywood County did, take further look at it, or just vote no. It's a very simple thing to do. This is back to our children in the Inca District and those who will be coming from out of state. God bless them and God bless all of you in the future.
Thank you. Okay, all right. All right, so we're going to move on to the items on the action agenda. First item on the action agenda is the Child Nutrition Procurement Plan to award this bid. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, thank you. We have a presentation. Okay. Ms. Payne, would you have some initial comments you'd like to make?
That I believe that she has been studying is not accurate, so I would take the opportunity to defend that, if I may, and kind of use a few minutes to educate the board, since I've only been back a year, but have been involved in the procurement process since 2000, or 1994, actually.
Why don't you come on up to the podium, and then
All right.
maybe you can kind of give us a little summary, and then we'll ask the board members if they...
If it's appropriate, can I tell these ladies I thought that was wonderful, and I want you on my Nutrition Advisory Council?
I think that would be a good idea, absolutely.
Make sure they have my cards. Because they're addressing the problems that we address every day, especially in our procurement practices. So I thought that was beautiful.
Lisa, can
You have something you want passed out for us?
Yes, if you'll allow, Mr. Bryant, thank you. Basically, all this is kind of a summary of the highlights of the chemical bid that Haywood County Board published. The chairperson for the chemical bid was Miss Allison Francis, which is my colleague. And I did the food bid, and Henderson County, the produce bids. We work as a Western North Carolina co-op, but for some of our bids, we are standalone counties simply because geographics and the location and the fuel. So, looking at that, does anyone have any specific questions for me? Because I think it's just a timeline. I know that the comments have been made that we are willing to spend $272,000 with Ecolab, or whatever the figure was, a couple of $100,000. The last year we spent with Champion $134,000, so we would not even enter into over $200,000 range. But we're finding that we as laymen, professionals, bid awarders, worked with several different groups, talked to industry members, and have found that gallon for gallon, if you will, Ecolab is the less expensive product. Ms. Allison Francis in Haywood County did a pilot school with both chemicals and learned that Ecolab was more expensive and also less corrosive to the machines. We felt comfortable with the decision and hope that you'll support that.
I have a quick question. It may be in your summary. I haven't had a chance to read it, but I just want to make sure that, and I spoke with Mr. Venturella. Mr. Venturella, this was a bid that was done properly according to the state standards. Has this bid been protested by anyone that bid the project? No formal protest?
No formal protest. And I actually asked Mr. Johnson of Champion if he would like to protest or was interested in protest, and he said no, that he would like us to review the bid next year, which of course we would do.
So there'll be an opportunity in a year to rebid this? Okay.
Certainly.
All right.
For a rollover if Ecolab is the most responsive bidder, but to review both companies. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Bryant, can you help me, because I appreciate all the information, but in looking at it, appears we had 4 bidders. They didn't all bid on everything. It was obvious to me, or it jumped out at me, a couple of things. Number one, there was one supplier who chose, I don't know why they're not, I don't guess they're here, but they chose not to use the form, for lack of a better term, that was supplied, which seems to me to be someone, and maybe I'm wrong, but that person or that company could have been disqualified from even being considered if they don't follow the procurement guidelines. Is that accurate?
That's very accurate. I did not attend the bid award since I did not publish the bid, and learned that one of the vendors indeed did not submit the original document and chose to create their own spreadsheet. Ms. Allison accepted that spreadsheet, and that would be something that would come out later if there were a protest that would come into the mix.
And along those lines, in looking at this, it was obvious. The other thing that was obvious to me was, even though you were very specific, or the group was specific in how you asked for the information, you didn't always get it that way. So how did you, or what did you do? What was process with all of these vendors in terms of determining the price per gallon? Because some of them gave you bids in solid, and some gave you bids in liquid. So how did the group, what did you do? Because it jumped out at me that there were a lot of differences there, and so how do you handle that? What did
We
you do
actually
in that
had
process?
samples of the products. My administrative assistant, Kelly Frady, Robert Raw from Henderson County, Allison Francis from Haywood County, and myself met at Allison's office. And we actually took the gallons, the liquid gallons, and we took the math and the paper from the solid containers, and we converted everything to a liquid form, so we priced by the gallon. So we took it down to what would this 1 ounce of this powder or 1 ounce of this liquid cost, and broke it down to 1 ounce and then converted to the gallon.
And when you did that, who was the low bidder?
Ecolab.
Okay, thank you.
Ms.
It's on
Baldwin,
the second
you had
page of the summary.
Ms. Baldwin, you had a question?
Yes. I was first alerted to this issue by a citizen in Haywood County who'd done a public records request on the bids. And Haywood County's documentation says that we would be paying Ecolab's $232,000, and Champion's bid was $89,000, which is actually less than what we paid for the contract this past school year.
You have a copy of that? Do you have a copy of that?
Our board should have received a copy. I forwarded this to
And you do have that
everybody.
copy, Ms. Baldwin, and with all due respect, what that copy is a copy that Mr. Johnson from Champion submitted after the bid analysis. It doesn't match our Buncombe County Schools' actual sales numbers. And at my meeting with Mr. Johnson, he suggested that the material safety data sheet for Ecolab was incorrect, which is certainly out of my realm of knowledge. I have to take his at face value and Ecolab's. So that large number is based on his believing that Ecolab's MSDS sheet is incorrect.
So what is the total cost for Ecolab?
The total cost for Ecolab is based on the gallon, and let's look at the second page of that summary. Champions would have been $237.84, Ecolab's is $231.30. So if you look at the original bid document, we had 0 for usage, which is why we awarded by the cost of the gallon, because due to smart lunch and going to more paper goods and using less plastic trays and trying to be a greener cafeteria, there's no way to forecast what we'll spend. What I'm doing is making sure that we don't overspend what we spent with Ecolab, which was $134,000 last year. And if we find that this is not cost effective, we have in the contract to void the contract within 30 days if you choose to approve it.
So last year, this data from Haywood says $101,000 is how much we spent with
on Champion Supply is $134,241.18. But remember, the numbers you're looking at were provided by Mr. Johnson.
Okay, this was never clarified. I mean, I sent you all the documentation days ago. Never received any documentation saying that this was from him. Why would Haywood County Schools send?
Well, they sent the total bid award packet. So they sent everything that was in that packet, and that became part of public record when he submitted it.
And this is not only with Haywood County, but it's also with Henderson County?
Correct.
So the 3 counties, which would be a total of, what, 80 schools?
Well, we're the largest, 12, yeah.
So probably about 80 schools. So this is an example
yeah,
of
right at 75 to 80.
Going in together to get the best price.
And to get the quantity pricing, it went collectively, yes.
And so when you look at the bid, based on the numbers that are on this sheet, it's clear there's a difference between the 2 bids, and everyone had the same opportunity to bid the same, set of specs.
Correct.
Correct. So,
correct.
I mean, I find it kind of interesting that, that this has all gotten started, but the gentleman who lost, or there's 4 companies?
4 companies.
That bid, and none of the 3 that are high bid have protested this bid, so I don't understand really why you have state standards that have to be followed when you do a bid, and I feel pretty comfortable that we've done that.
Well, the fact that he did not protest.
If we haven't, someone needs to file a protest and we'll look at it. Exactly.
He did not protest, therefore he must be comfortable too.
Yes.
Well, he called me actually, and he sent me an email, and I can read it to everyone. He said he didn't protest it because he knew the products were already in the schools. The Ecolab had already been put in the schools. The award letters went out in July. I'm not sure why we're voting on it after it's already in use. It hasn't even been approved by the board yet. It could have come to us in August, I'm sure. I'm not sure why the bid.
Well, Ms. Baldwin, the reason it wasn't able to come in August is because Haywood County did table it, which delayed our being able to present it to our board to stay collectively in the co-op with them. And still looking at the dollar figures that I can continue to operate the businesses as necessary as long as I stay under that $90,000 threshold, which I have done. So please know that I didn't like it. I did not enjoy that Haywood County tabled it. It has been uncomfortable. But we, as the cooperative, and everyone that reviewed the bid, I do feel like we have made the right decision, and I'm pleased to bring this new product to the board for approval.
Well, and certainly if there's any problems, you'll let us know, and we can address
I'll
them
be
at
the
that
first,
time.
yes, sir.
Yes, thank you.
The score sheets on here, it says, Buncombe. I'm assuming that you were the one that did the score sheets.
He wrote, I did see that Mr. Miller I think that he did that for each. So in Miss Allison's, he said that she awarded. In Buncombe's, he said that I awarded. In Henderson's, he said that Mr. Rolfe awarded, but actually we all 3 did. I have that award criteria right in front of me here. And the only difference, since I was the largest county, in Ecolab, I'm familiar with Ecolab from the past, but Champion was the incumbent. I was very mindful not to hold him accountable for things that I knew were not perfect, because I know that things will not be perfect with Ecolab as well. So my score for Ecolab was 93, and only a 2-point difference with Champion for 91. Haywood and Henderson both did pilot studies where they found Ecolab product to be more effective and more cost-effective, so more effective and efficient, and they were harsher in their scoring.
Dr. Baldwin has a couple of things he'd like to say.
Just one quick question, Ms. Payne. The amount of time that was involved with you, and I don't want you to speak for Haywood and Henderson, but I would assume it would be parallel, the amount of time that it took to go through this particular plan, process, bidding, the analysis that you did. Can you give the board any estimate on that?
On this, on the chemical bid alone, I'm sure that Ms. Francis has probably put at least 60 to 80 hours into the project itself. Kelly Frady and myself for Buncombe County Schools wrote the spreadsheet and did the legwork on finding acceptable, good product that would be competitive so that we would have a competitive bid, which was our motivation to begin with. And with everything that I've done this week, I probably have about 60 to 80 hours in this project.
Okay. And I understand Haywood County did table that, and in fact, I think the board, did the board receive actually 2 emails I sent? Because I was concerned with some disinformation that was being presented, and some of those numbers coming from a newspaper article that did not reflect any official numbers that
Correct.
I understood from Haywood, Henderson,
Correct.
or Buncombe.
None were requested. No official numbers were requested.
Yeah, and I think the board is aware. I did meet myself personally. In fact, Dr. Adale's here. We both met with Mr. Johnson. I thought had a very positive conversation. I asked him specifically if he had any complaint regarding the bidding process itself, and his comment to me, and Dr. Adale, I think you were sitting in the room, was no. And we asked, again, what was his request, and I thought it was a very reasonable request that at the end of this particular cycle that we look at rebidding that, and that's something that we periodically do with all of our contracts. So I thought, again, that was a very reasonable request. But I do want to make sure that the board did receive 2 separate emails from me once some initial information that I felt like was confusing to the board. Did each board member receive that? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm still very concerned that we don't have a total here. If what Mr. Johnson came up with as a total is not correct or something, what is the correct total based on your usage in the past?
And there again, there isn't one. And so what Mr. Johnson did is he took last year's usage numbers and said, this is what Buncombe County purchased. So I'm going to take my bid price for 14-15, and I'm going to multiply that by 638 cases or whatever cases, okay? He couldn't do that this year because how we're using the product has changed. So all I can do is forecast as a part of Object Code 651, and I'm going to look at my 40% food cost, my 40% labor cost, and I know that I have 2% to spend on chemicals. So what I can do, Ms. Baldwin, is go and look at my budget, and then I'll just email Dr. Baldwin, and he can pass it on what the 2% I project to spend would be. So I can't give you an actual figure tonight.
But we have to vote on it tonight.
Pardon me?
We have to vote to approve it tonight, and I don't know
And
how much.
I would hope that you would, based on the 2%, and on the awarding of the bid, that it was, Ecolab was the lowest, and that I hope you would support our cooperative.
I also have questions about the food. We only received a 2-page memo, and this is a multi-million-dollar contracts that we're being asked to approve without knowing what the bids were. You sent some information, but I had asked for quotes from every bidder for the food products, and I did not get that information.
Did you not? I think that was in one of the emails called the WNC tabulation.
The bid contract?
It's a U.S. Foods contract.
Okay, we're not on that right now, so.
That's all part of this whole thing we're voting on.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question about the contract we're discussing.
I'm sorry. Okay, all right. Amy?
Ms. Payne, can you just maybe tell me again the figure you said for, you used Champion, we used Champion last year. How much did we spend last year with Champion?
$134,000.
And so and that's for years?
That's for 1 year.
Okay.
That 13-14 school year.
Okay, so at $134,000, and Mr. Johnson is projecting that this bid would also be for a year at $89,000? Okay. Did he explain why it was significantly less this year as compared to last year?
I have not met with him yet. I was actually going to ask Dr. Baldwin to file a protocol so that we can meet, because we do have the right to audit that bid, and I think that we should.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I did ask that question when he called me, and he said he lowered his prices to be competitive. He wanted to ensure that he would win the bid, win the bid based on price. So are you saying that you're accepting this bid, it's not based on price? Because the criteria, our first priority is price.
Well, there's not a first criteria. There's not a 1, 2, 3, 4 price is number one. There's several different criteria, and there's a weighted average. And then you have a group scoring it, so you collect the totals of each member of the group and award accordingly.
Right, I know service is one criteria, quality delivery service. I had the numbered price from the document.
Well, Mr. Chair, it would seem to me that at the end of the day, any bidder in anything we do, if they don't submit a bid that's properly submitted following the documentation that's requested, we'll have this problem with every bid we put out there for a building, for a fire system, for food services. It seems to me Champion, someone went above and beyond the call to include them in the process, and then to even consider their numbers that is a summary of something, going from 130, what'd you say, 4,000 to 89? Is that correct? 90, 89? I mean, that's help me with some math, Mr. Craig, but that's what, 30% decrease in a year's time? I'm not sure how a business could stay in business doing that, but he had the same opportunity that all the other vendors did from the beginning to take the proper documentation, specific request of size, weight, packaging, corrosive, non-corrosive, a lot of detail in the request, and be a part of that and submit it and be the low bidder.
And he did, all four companies did submit their SDS data sheets, but they were so large, I should have put a blanket in there for you that those particular sheets were there, which is what we use to mix up the recipes to come down the gallon price.
So what I'm looking at here then from Champion that looks different from Ecolab and the other two vendors is what they submitted, or it's not what they submitted?
It is what they submitted, but I was talking about the SDS sheets.
Okay.
What?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep going back to the fact that, or I keep going back to the fact that he's not protesting. I mean, if we didn't do it right, he should protest.
And everyone, all four of these folks will have the opportunity in another year to put it out for bid. So.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the calculations that he did took into account the dilution rates for each product. And I don't understand why we aren't calculating these dilution rates and being able to give the board the actual proposed projected cost.
Ms. Baldwin, the reason that I didn't take into consideration the dilution rate is because the dilution rate, and I put it in the summary, is based on Mr. Johnson saying there was a 0.33 dilution rate versus a 1-to-1. So he was saying the Ecolab, his information is based on him saying the Ecolab's data sheet was wrong, and that's a legal contract document. So I did not question that, no more than I questioned one of Mr. Johnson's SDS sheets.
Yeah, I think he was actually using the product label, from what I saw.
Right, I wrote that down. I wrote that down during our meeting. Mm-hmm.
Yes, again, and looking at the other items that we are to approve, I mean, I have no amount. There was, an amount for U.S. Foods, I believe, that was over $1 million on here, but I saw, no quotes from other vendors that bid on each of these. Like some of these...
Well, only 2 vendors bid. We had 4 interested parties. 2 vendors bid, and you have the cover sheet with Reinhardt and U.S. Foods. And if you saw no bid on the Reinhardt line, it means...
And it's a different Reinhardt. It's spelled different. Just
yes, it is. And it's out of Tennessee. It's those Tennessee boys. No relation.
Don't distribute food.
But therefore, if you did not see one, because it's a WNC tabulation, so all the tabulation is there, and if not, if you'd like to resend the spreadsheet that you got, I'd double check and make sure you got the correct one.
Now, was this one of the attachments Dr. Baldwin sent?
Correct.
That you're talking about?
Correct.
Were the ones that say bottom line firm with rollover clause, were those bid out before you decided to roll it over to the same?
There would have been no reason to bid if we decided to roll over, so we're just asking for board to approve the rollover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm concerned that there were so few bidders. How do you publicize these RFPs that go out, or whatever your name is for that?
Actually, on the food bid, I got on the phone and called several people, and we did tours of Reinhardt Food Services in Tennessee, of Cisco Charlotte, U.S. Foods, Fort Mill, and PFG we did not tour, but we did invite them to the table, so we solicited potential vendors. And we have our vendor list, and we send our bids to them to give them at least 30-day notice to complete those RFPs or bid documents. And we also post that on our child nutrition webpage.
Of all the ones on this list, there were basically 3 that you rolled over. The rest were rebid.
Correct.
Okay.
Was Pet Dairy the only one for milk? Where's this? I'm looking for the spreadsheet now. Let's see.
Pet Dairy was a rollover for milk, and it was exclusive to Buncombe. But the pricing was the same, and they were going to hold the pricing. If we had rebid, the pricing would have gone up. So I negotiated with him to hold the pricing.
But in the case of Champion, the pricing went down when you bid it out.
Not necessarily. Whether it went down or not, it still wasn't the lower bidder. So he decreased his margins. He bid to win, but he did not win.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Next on the action agenda we have, thank you, Ms. Payne. Next on the action agenda we have the addendum to driver's education, the 2014-15 contract with Mountain Professionals. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
I'll second, Mr. Chair.
All right, do we have any questions? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
I had a question about the increase.
Ms. Baldwin, I asked if there are any questions and no one said anything.
I'm expressing the question now. Yes, there is a question.
Is there a certain amount of time I need to wait, or?
The fee, well, if you'd rather not discuss items on the agenda.
No, go right ahead. If you have a question, let's just ask it. Don't sit there in silence if you're not going to ask anything.
I was pulling it up on the agenda. I'm sorry that there was a delay. The increase in the fee from $40 to $50 for parents for driver's education. What is the justification for this increase? And is this something we've never increased a contract that was signed before? I just don't know if the purchasing agent is here, Mr. Venturello.
He's coming down right now, and I think if everyone, there was a little change in the General Assembly, I believe.
Yes.
Are you aware of that, Ms. Baldwin? The General Assembly changed the fee?
That was not
I'm
in
just
our.
curious.
That was not in our board documentation.
Okay, it was in the news several times.
Yes.
Okay.
The reason, in talking with Mr. Venturelli in particular on almost a daily basis, beginning in May, about the upcoming contract, and of course the General Assembly at that time, we didn't know what was going to happen. Part of the General Assembly was ready to disband driver's ed and require parents to pay the full fee. Fortunately, other members of the General Assembly said, no, we're not going to do that. And we literally didn't know at the end of June if we were going to be in business officially. Mr. Venturelli and I, during May and June, decided that we needed to get something in front of you folks so you could act on it for the coming year. Otherwise, come June the 30th, we would have had to have cease and desist from driver's ed. So we did the same contract that we had in the previous year with the understanding when the General Assembly got through, we would readdress it. Sometime in July, and my memory fails me exactly what date in July, at 4 o'clock in the morning, the General Assembly agreed, the Conference Committee agreed that they would fund driver's ed one more year out of the Highway Trust Fund. They cut the entire program across the state, if memory serves me, and I stand to be corrected, $350,000. That was for the entire state. But they upped what an LEA could charge the parents or the student from $50 to $65. If you all have been on the board, and most of you have for a few years, they started out a few years ago at $40. Mountain Professionals was able to hold it to $20. And the main reason that we were able to do that is our teachers voluntarily took a 11-point-something% pay cut. We didn't lose a teacher because of that, which I think speaks so well of our faculty. A couple of years later, they keep cutting the allotment, and a couple of years later, they raised that fee to $50. And that's what we've been working on for the last 2 years. We held ours at $40. That gave us an increase of $20. We give our teachers half of their cut back 2 years ago. With this request, I propose that we give our teachers the other percent back. So the lion's share of this $10 request that we're asking is to get our teachers back to where they were 4 years ago, which I think is reasonable. The other reason, because of the uncertainty for the last couple of years, we haven't replaced our automobiles like we would like to. We're using our automobiles more mileage. Let me assure you they're safe, they're being inspected, they're being serviced, and your students are safe. But we have postponed buying some automobiles. This year, whether we're going to be in business next year or not, we're going to have to buy 8. That's a pretty significant outlay for a small company such as mine. So that is the reason I'm here asking for the $10 more. Many of the schools in North Carolina are charging the full $65. We got a little criticism from other LEAs across the state when we were charging $40 instead of $50. They're saying you're making us look bad. Well, sorry.
Mr. Ledford, do you have an idea what the state average is for the charge? Any idea?
My son-in-law and my office manager sitting up here, I may ask for his help. The average, Sam, if I were guessing, last year when it was $50, the average was of those charging, Sam, help me, would you?
Talked with Reggie Flythe, Reggie Flythe is the DPI representative for driver's ed, and he put out a map. And most of the counties are charging. Some of the counties, including Asheville City, are supplementing with local funds. Not much, $8 per child is what Asheville City's supplementing with. But most of the school systems, 115 LEAs, are charging a fee, and it was the maximum fee they could charge. At that time, it was $50. Now it's gone to $65.
With Asheville supplementing $8, how much are the parents required to pay?
I don't think.
Could you ask the question again, please?
With the $8 supplement that the actual city schools are paying, what is the amount, or they were paying?
They are paying $8.75 above the state allotment, and the reason it's lower is because their teachers didn't get their raise back, and they volunteered to do that.
And the state allotment is?
Last year it was $191.90.
Yeah, $191.91.
Yeah. I think I said this last year, 21 years ago, the allotment in Mitchell County, where I'm from, was $275 per student. At that time, 21 years ago, it varied from LEA to LEA because the state was paying them based on certification, years of experience, and whatnot. There wasn't one consistent allocation for every LEA. Mitchell County's was $275. There were some counties 21 years ago that was well over 300. There were counties well under the 275. So it varied.
Okay.
And when they changed the allotment, they said you're going to get so much per student. And that's what we've been on ever since. The first years, it was 240, 245, 21 years ago, 22 years ago. And each year it's come down, and then they added the fee. And you think this year's bad, or I think it's bad for driver's ed. Right now, we're not in the budget for next year. The word is next year it will be a fee to the parent.
Right.
Of the total amount?
The total thing. As I understand it now, and I keep looking over to Sam for him to agree or disagree with me, boards of education will still need to choose a contractor. Dr. Baldwin, is that your understanding?
That's absolutely correct, and just to make sure that the board's aware, I'm looking at my August superintendent comment, so because this was very important, and I said this because I've wanted the public to hear it loud and clear. Beginning next year, no state funds will be used to supplement driver's education. More to come later. The cost can be set at a limit of $65 for a student's enrollment, and I also want to just take an opportunity to thank Mr. Ledford. He has come to this board, those of you veteran board members, he's come almost every year. And when he stepped in front of us, his reputation is excellent across this state as a driver's education provider. But he's always been able to come to this table and help our kids, knowing the hardships that many of them will have in terms of raising that money. So, you know, I just want to say thank you on behalf of our kids out there.
If I may make one point, I think our strength as a company, and I'll use Buncombe County, we have approximately 17, maybe 18 teachers that's teaching driver's ed in Buncombe County for your schools. Of those 17 or 18, and I'm going from memory, 15 of them are either current teachers or former teachers. You know these teachers, the principals know them, Dr. Baldwin knows them, the parents know them, the kids know them, and if you get good people, you have to pay them. And I'm proud to say, and I don't mind to say, we're averaging paying $17.50 an hour. We pay better than any commercial school in North Carolina. And to get good people and to keep them, you have to pay them. They deserve it.
Yeah, you're still using my driver's ed teacher.
I'm sorry?
You're still using my driver's ed teacher.
I was going to say that if you thought about it, you probably have a driver's ed teacher working for us that taught you as well.
Mr. Miller.
Eddie Miller.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the contract that we approved on June 5th, and I just want to clarify. It says the amount of the contract will not exceed the allowed allotment the board receives from the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction for driver education. So I just want to clarify, what we're saying is the allotment has gone down from the state. Is that why we need to increase this, because you're going to get less money from Buncombe County schools?
We do 9 counties, 9 LEAs in western North Carolina. Overall, we lost 400 and some students in those 9 counties. Buncombe County sort of held its own. Our allotment's down a little bit. I'm not sure how much total allotment, but Buncombe County, Rutherford County was the other one. Rutherford County actually had a pretty good increase in today's world. The rest of the counties, the smaller counties, Mitchell, Yancey, Polk, Madison, they had significant percentage drops.
Now, is that because there are fewer students taking driver's eds?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the state allotment, the amount of money we're paying you is based on per student?
Third month, ADM, freshman allocation.
Does this have anything to do with, were any classes canceled this summer, any driver's ed
No,
classes?
ma'am. No, ma'am. As I stated earlier, we were getting close to having to decide whether or not to shut down. We were within days of calling our teachers and saying, quit. And we kept getting a little better news and a little better news, and we really found some political help in the House of Representatives, Republican, that picked up our cause and sort of carried our water for us, if that's a proper analogy.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Ms. Rankin.
I'd like to commend Mr. Ledford and the efforts that he's made for our students in Buncombe County as well as for the other counties that use your services. And I wish the General Assembly would continue to fund. However, if they have chosen not to, I would really like to thank you for your frugality and your proposal here, but I'd really like for you to buy 8 new cars so that our students would be in safe new vehicles, and when I pass one on the interstate, that I'd be assured that they're in good hands as well as I.
Okay, I agree. We developed a philosophy several years ago. We don't use the smaller cars. We started out using Ford Escorts, and that was before we had the Buncombe County contract. Since then, we're mid-size. All of our automobiles have side impact airbags. Let me assure you, they're well
maintained. Brake on the right side of the car as opposed to the left, yes.
And they're properly maintained, and all of our mechanics know what we expect through the inspection each time they're in, and we're real proud of our company. We really are. I believe in driver's ed. I think there's 4 things that every student should know before they leave public schools. They should know how, we used to call it typing. They call it keyboarding now. Everyone should know how to keyboard. Everyone should know how to do basic first aid, maybe to include CPR. Everyone should be able to swim the length of the swimming pool, an Olympic-sized pool, maybe no more, and everyone should know how to drive safely. So I understand where driver's ed fits in the academic world. We are not French 3, we're not chemistry, we're not advanced calculus, but we are a life-saving program.
Yes, we are.
Amen. Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
I guess the last thing I just wanted to clarify is that Buncombe County Schools, we're the ones who set the $40 maximum. Is that correct in the contract?
You're the one that sets the fee, yes, ma'am. And with that old contract, it's 40, and we're asking for an addendum to go to 50 beginning. Now, the students we just taught at T.C. Robinson, A.C. Reynolds, Sandy Smith just started the class out there yesterday. Those kids who are in class or who have finished will be at the 40 if you approve this. The kids who, or the students who take this in the future will be 50 if you approve it.
Okay. And the maximum is still $65?
65, yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
And the teachers will get a $1 raise. I'm very, very proud of that.
Thank you. It was very helpful. And my son passed driver's ed this summer. We had a great experience. Thank you.
I'm sitting here thinking mine starts on Monday, so I guess I'm voting for an increase.
Make that, put that off until,
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you so much. May I make one comment? We got here early, and we got a tour of your STEMS program.
Oh, okay.
Y'all better get ready. I think this is going to be the #1 tourist attraction in Buncombe County for everyone. That's great. But thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
All right, next on the action agenda is authorize the superintendent to review and accept the construction manager's GMP for Phase 1 site work at the Inca Intermediate School. To have a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
There a second? Okay. All right, any questions?
Yeah, my concern is that the maximum price is $3.1 million, and I know when we were meeting, we were talking about it being around $2.5 million, $2.6 million. Is there any reason that it's more than that?
Mr. Fearley, can you?
Mm-hmm.
So there's two phases to the project. There's the site construction phase, the phase 1, and phase 2 is the building construction. Mm-hmm. And as you heard in the presentations by the designers and such, it's really critical that we get as much done before the winter as possible. So the board approved seed money to start this project quite a few months ago. That will cover the architect's fees, the construction manager fees, as well as the site construction and any permits that we will need to get for that phase 1. So what we've got left out of that $5 million is $3.1 million for construction. The more we get done on the site, the better construction will go for the building. So, yeah, we thought we would be in the vicinity of $2.2 million. That would get the building pad set. But if we can do curbing and road rough-ins, the more we can do in this, the better off we'll be in the long run, ensure a timely completion, and the cost will be ultimately left less in the phase 2. So I'm not sure what the cost will be. We'll have to see the bids on this, but that's the high end that we can fund with the seed money that you started it from. So that's how that number was determined.
And, I've been concerned that we did not use the traditional bidding process, that we chose a construction manager at risk or general contractor based on qualifications rather than based on a price. I feel like it's hard to know what a good price is when you haven't gotten traditional bids on the work. I was very disappointed to see that the price was higher than what was predicted.
So we're actually doing a little bit more work than what you'd anticipated to begin with.
It's going to be as large a scope as we can do, is what I've encouraged the architect to include in the work that will in fact be bid, and ultimately if the bids are in line, competitively bid, multiple prices. If they're in line with the industry standards, then what I'm recommending to the superintendent and he to you, that you authorize him to review those bids, and if they come in where expected and under that ceiling, that you give him authority to accept that guaranteed maximum price.
And you're referring to the subcontractor bids that will come into our construction manager at risk.
Yep, correct.
All right. Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but can I address Ms. Baldwin's concern about the hiring of our construction manager versus our traditional bidding? I guess for me, I'm not as concerned because I believe as a parent of a child who actually went through the delay of Kuntz Intermediate, if we had had a construction manager on board at that time, I'm pretty sure just from the research that I've done and people that I've spoken with that we might not have had nearly the amount of headaches that we did have with that project, ×2 with Evelyn. So in my opinion, I feel that while there are pros and cons to using a construction manager, I feel that this is money well spent. And I, again, just would like to put that out publicly that I did support the construction manager and the reasons why.
Is there a contract already drawn up that you're basing this 3.1 max, that the maximum price is based on?
You've approved last month the construction manager at risk Phase 1 contract?
Right. But, okay. I didn't approve it, but other people did. That's okay.
The board approved it.
Correct.
All right, any other questions? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to the Owen High School tennis court contract. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any questions?
Yes, I was asking about the design and build process. Was this bid out, the work for the tennis courts?
The board approved the design-build process, which involves a qualification-based selection of a design and build team for this project. It is a delivery method approved by the state of North Carolina, and as I recommended to the board before you did approve it, that this is the ideal type of project that delivery method was developed for. It does not involve direct bidding, as you described, but it involves a scope of work that is described by the owner and based on historic costs, and we've built a number of tennis courts. A budget is developed and negotiated with this design-build team.
The contract says it's in the amount of $412,000. So that's less than the budget of $450,000.
Correct.
So where that additional money would stay in capital outlay fund then?
It would. You want to have a project contingency. I expect we're going to hit some rock that will have to be removed. You want to have a contingency that the owner has for unexpected things that we may uncover in the construction process, but any funds that would be surplus from the project after completion would return to our local funds as a resource for the board to use.
Any other questions or comments?
Well, again, I have a problem, without a traditional bid process, that this is, going to end up eating up the $450,000 just because that amount was budgeted. It's impossible to know what the lowest price would be without bidding.
To me, I picture a paver that does a driveway, and then I picture someone that does tennis courts. And I would think the lowest bid may be the guy that does paving of your driveway, but is that necessarily the person that you want building a tennis court? I don't think so.
For safety reasons, if no other?
And maintenance issues, and tennis courts are different than driveways, but that much of concrete or whatever it makes up a tennis court may be the same as on the driveway, but I would think it's a different application. And drainage and all the things that go into making a tennis court. And we also talked about this.
That's a really good point. It's about a quality of the product and as you described, any paving contractor would be qualified to bid this legally, but in my opinion, there's a good chance they would not deliver the best quality product, so you would get perhaps a lower price up front, because if you're not the lowest bidder, you're not going to get the job. So we're going to get the lowest bidder who can legally build this, but I don't think you're going to get the best product, and in the long run, it's going to cost you a lot more to maintain and operate that court, and it's got to be dead level. The quality of play on that court would potentially not be as good for as long a time.
Well, Mr. Chair, I would add, too, I don't think the taxpayers and the families and the citizens and the communities in Buncombe County are looking at us just to spend the least amount of money when we have to debate and decide these types of things. They want us to spend the money in the best way we can and create the best product we can, regardless of whether it's tennis courts or school buildings, for our kids and our communities that'll last as long as it can last, and do it in the most cost-efficient manner. Not necessarily the least expensive, but the most cost-efficient, so that we get the best of both worlds going forward, regardless of what it is and how we spend our money.
All right, any other comments?
For comparison purposes, Cane Creek Middle School has tennis courts. I'm probably asking you to remember back too far, but were other tennis courts built by, tennis court companies or, specifically?
Not to my knowledge, they weren't.
Mm-hmm. Is this a tennis court company?
There's actually 3 entities involved in this. One is a tennis court specialist. There is a civil engineer that is doing the design and erosion control and sedimentation control. And then there's a grading contractor that will do the heavy work and build the sediment ponds and such that are now necessary for this type of work. And then there is a tennis court specialist who will actually build the courts.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Having addressed this issue over time, Mr. Craig's real happy to have tennis courts in his district, but we have had issues before. And Mr. Fearley and I have had multiple conversations about this, that we need to build, in my opinion, we need to build a quality product and to assure the safety of our students while they are on that product, so that we don't have erosion issues and other things that compromise those courts. And we have historically dealt with that, and I have requested in the past that we move forward and make sure that what we do is quality work. And I believe that Mr. Fearley is presenting to us a contract that would do just that.
Just to ask about the scoreboard, it says that it has to be separate. It couldn't be attached, I guess, to the fence around the tennis court. I'm concerned about equity, too, between schools. Does everyone have the same type of facilities? Do all of our, all of our high schools have the scoreboards?
They do not. They don't have a scoreboard, and there won't be a scoreboard built into this.
Okay.
But while we're doing it, we're going to put the piping and conduit in the ground so that if the school or other outside entity wishes to add that they could without having to tear up the tennis courts.
Thank you, Mr. Fearley.
Yes, without a formal bidding process, I don't feel comfortable approving this, not knowing, again, what the lowest price might have been.
Maybe we need to look at another bid process, because the chemical bid was a formal bid and that didn't work, and now the design bid's not going to work. So maybe, Mr. Venturelli, you can come up with some creative ways that we can start bidding things out.
Can't catch what he's saying here.
All in favor,
I'd
please
like
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Okay. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. We have the amended closed session minutes from August the 14th and everything else that is listed. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have a administrative regulation on the information agenda. Don't forget that we have the Teacher of the Year banquet on September the 16th, and we also have the Buncombe County Schools Foundation anniversary. So I believe that starts at 11:30 at the Renaissance. Please remember to buy your ticket. And the next Board of Education meeting will be Thursday, October the 2nd. And we have the upcoming North Carolina School Board Association Conference in Greensboro, November 17th and 19th, 2014. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.